Now real quick, I wrote down the script and recorded this video before the Nintendo Direct or the Treehouse Live event that gave us more Metroid Prime 4 footage. And through that new gameplay, some of the things I mentioned on this list have kind of been confirmed here and there, so I contemplated just scrapping this video. But I still liked some of my thoughts and opinions that I mentioned in this video, so I decided just to continue on with the video and add a couple of post-edit recordings to acknowledge the new information that we got about the game. So just keep that in mind, I wrote this before all that new footage came out. A long time ago, I made a video talking about 5 things I want to see for a potential Prime 4 game. This was way before the actual reveal of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, so I was just blindly speculating what I wanted to see. But now that we have a basic idea of the possible story and identity of Prime 4, I kinda want to revisit this topic of 5 things I want to see for Prime 4. A lot of time has passed, and knowing that Salix and his stolen Metroid are key elements in the story, it's given me a new perspective on my opinion, so I'd like to remake my wishlist video. And with the release of Metroid Prime 4 coming closer, it has the potential of being an amazing game. It can introduce a ton of things to the franchise that will excite fans. New items, new planets, environments, new enemies, new lore, new gameplay, and a new experience. I'm definitely excited to see whatever Retro Studios cooks up with this new installment. Whatever they do, I'm confident I'm gonna enjoy it. But there are a few things I want to see specifically in this new game. So here's my wish list for 5 things I want to see from Metroid Prime 4. Now keep in mind though, this is purely my opinion. If you have your own list or ideas of things you want to see for this new Prime game, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you like Metroid content. Share this to a friend who's interested in Metroid, and enjoy the video. And with that being said, let's get started. Now this one is kinda obvious, but I want to see more Metroid variants and mutations. The Prime games have done a great job with adding new Metroid forms to the series. We got simple variations like the Talon Metroid, to drastic mutations like the Hunter Metroid, the Dark Talon Metroid, the Metroid Hatcher, and even the Metroid Prime. So I do want to see the trend of new Metroid forms continue on with this game. It more than likely will happen since the Space Pirates have access to the Metroids due to Silex. It's no doubt that the Space Pirates would continue their experiments and research. Now for something more specific, if these are Machtroids, I hope to see them mutate. We assume that the Machtroids are stunted in their growth, but that's just cause we have very little information about the mutation. Imagine if the Machtroid mutated like the SR388 Metroids, developing into its own version of the Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, and Omega Metroid, but gnarly, malnourished, and twisted. The forms could be called like the Beta Machtroid, Delta Machtroid, Epsilon Machtroid, and the Omicron Machtroid, to parallel the SR388 counterpart. And if not that, maybe bring back older Metroid variants and branch out their mutations. Bring back the Dark Talon Metroid somehow and let it mutate. Reintroduce the Hunter Metroid and further its mutation. Or even let us see some failed Metroid Prime clones. The possibilities are limitless. But regardless, new Metroid forms have the high potential to be in this game. So I'm just excited to see whatever the development team cooks up. Oh, and also I want new forms so I can fill up my YouTube banner with more Metroids. I like the collage so far, but adding more variants onto this cluster of Metroids would be so cool. And yes, through the new gameplay footage, we know that the Metroids have a unique ability of fusing into their hosts to amplify their power, so at the very least, we'll be getting some sort of Metroid fusion hybrid kind of thing going on with some of the enemies. But I would still like the base Metroids to be able to mutate and have some new forms that aren't directly related to the fusing mechanic that they apparently have now. Even though Samus's main gimmick is being a space hunter, it's a shame that the series rarely does anything with the concept of bounty hunters. But when it does, it's honestly the coolest thing in the game. Prime Hunters gave us 6 bounty hunters competing with Samus to get the ultimate power. Prime 3 Corruption introduced 3 more hunters hired alongside Samus to stop the Space Pirates and the spread of Phazon. The inclusion of other space hunters expand the world building and lore of the series, so I want to see more bounty hunters involved in the story of Prime 4. We're obviously going to get this since Silex, a space hunter from Prime Hunters, is returning, but there's so much potential to introduce more hunters. Just like in Prime 3, the Galactic Federation could hire a handful of space hunters alongside Samus to stop Silex. Maybe Silex can set up a bounty on Samus so that rogue hunters are introduced to stop Samus. Again, there's so much potential to introduce new characters with unique and interesting designs, abilities, motives, and origins. And I also wouldn't mind if they brought back characters from Prime Hunters to expand the little bits of lore we know about these characters. Again, Silex is returning from Prime Hunters, so it would be cool to see Weevil return to help out his Space Pirate faction. Trace could join them to weaken the Galactic Federation to expand the creative Hidden Empire's territory. Spire and Noxus could even join Samus to save the galaxy, and Kaden could just be a chaotic third party, causing mayhem during all the chaos. If only Rundus could return. R.I.P. Cold King, you will always be missed. One of the few things I didn't like about Prime 3 was the beam stacking mechanic. When Samus got a new beam upgrade, instead of getting a separate beam weapon, the strengths and effects of the upgrade are stacked on top of the charge beam, making her default beam grow stronger as she progresses throughout the game. I like this system in Fusion, but with the Prime games, I like having variety of choice for the weapons. In the first two Prime games, each beam had its own unique effect that would be helpful based on the situation. The Wave Beam and Annihilator Beam homed in on stunned targets, making it easier to deal with flying and fast enemies. The Ice Beam and Dark Beam froze targets in place, allowing you to immobilize enemies so you can focus on a bigger threat, and the Plasma and Light Beam gave the target a burn effect to quickly deplete the enemy's HP faster. The weapon variety helped diversify the combat, so I want to see the weapon system from the first two Prime games return, but I also think that the weapon wield should expand past 3 slots. Give us more than 3 weapons to choose from in this game. People think that Samus's potential for weaponry is limited because her arm is restricted by an arm cannon, but Prime Hunters on DS showed us that the arm cannon can have a variety of weapon functions and options. This game gave us weapons like the Judicator, a ricocheting buck shotgun, the Imperialist, a sniper rifle, the Shock Coil, an arcing chain lightning attack, and the Magmaul, a lobbing AoE projectile. There's so much potential for Samus's arsenal to be more diverse than the standard beam shot with different elemental effects. If Prime Hunters on the DS can do this, then Prime 4 on the Switch can definitely do this with no problem. Another option would be giving Samus a secondary weapon. I love showing this image of Samus wielding a minigun on her free arm, and I'd love to see that implemented in game. Let Samus have a selection of weapons she can wield on her free arm. A minigun that pelts enemies would be cool, but imagine Samus with a flamethrower on her free arm, or a morph ball bomb launcher. Options like a defensive energy shield or a blade for melee combat could work too, and that could be a cool way to add in a melee counter system similar to Other M, Dread, and Samus Returns. And of course, it would be a perfect excuse to bring back the grapple lasso from Prime 3 for this weapon system. And in the new gameplay footage, we see that Samus has some sort of psychic beam that lets her manually aim her shots. It's an amazing concept so far, and this is the kind of creative direction I love to see for the weapon designs. I'm just crossing my fingers that we get a nice variety of different weapons like this. Now this may be controversial to some, but I'd love to see some voice acting for the story of Prime 4. I know some people have a negative opinion on voice acting in the series because of Other M
and the baby.
But the other games of voice acting like Prime 3 and Dread do a really good job of handling voice acting, especially Prime 3. The game had a great balance of NPCs and allies talking to Samus, giving their perspectives on the conflict, while keeping Samus a silent protagonist. It just feels more engaging to hear these characters' reactions and thoughts through a voice compared to plain text. Plus, a chance to have a character casually swear like in Prime 3 would be pretty cool. Damn! But now on the subject of if I want to see Samus talk specifically, I don't really mind to hear her speak. If Samus stayed quiet for the game, I wouldn't mind it. But in a story where Samus confronts a rival that has been plotting his revenge for years, I'd like to see Samus confront Salix at some point. It could be like the one time in the game where she breaks her silence to talk to Salix before the battle starts. It could make the moment before the battle very dramatic. And I'm really happy to report that with the new gameplay footage, not only do we have moments of the Galactic Federation talking to Samus and reacting to the raid on their base, but we also get to hear a new alien language through the new Lemorn species we encounter in the game now. Definitely excited, but I'm also more excited to get a new language now. I really hope it's fully developed to kind of get like an actual language to decipher in the game now. Now before we continue, I want to show off the membership system on this channel. Through joining a membership, you get access to a couple of neat things for the channel. A loyalty badge, which is just a Metroid next to your name to show support to the channel. Makes your comments stand out in the comment section. Emojis, which are Metroid themed because they're pretty cool. Early access to new videos. And your channel name and shoutouts at the end of my videos. It's a cool and simple way to support the channel if it's possible for you guys. And with your feedback, I like to update some of the tiers to make them more appealing for everybody. But of course, no need to feel like you need to join the membership. As long as you guys enjoy my videos and keep on watching, I'll continue to strive to make more content and improve my type of content as time goes on. But it's just an option for those who just want to support the channel in any way they can. I genuinely will appreciate the support, and I hope to make my kind of content worth the support. But again, as long as you guys enjoy the video, comment your thoughts here and there, and just subscribe, I'll be more than happy. And with that being said, let's get back to the video. For the most part, the main conflict in these Metroid games has always been the Galactic Federation versus Space Pirates. The Space Pirates develop bioweapons and perform illegal experiments to try to take over the galaxy, and the Galactic Federation tries to stop them to protect the galaxy, with the Federation involving Samus when the threat is too difficult for them to handle. These are the two main factions in Metroid, but for Prime 4, I'd like to see other factions get involved in the story. A new faction can bring us new elements, like unique enemy types, special weapon and technology designs, interesting motives, and more world building and lore. The Space Pirates are definitely cool, because they're like a covenant of different alien species who use stolen technology, so their appearance in each game is at least varied. But this faction always being the main threat does get stale and a bit repetitive. We know that Salix got the Space Pirates involved in his scheme, but what if he got the help of other organizations in his plan? The Space Pirates can't be the only group that hate the Galactic Federation. This could be an opportunity to bring in the Kraken Empire to help Salix, since this could be a chance for the faction to expand their territory. Maybe there's a confederation of planets that never felt represented by the Galactic Federation, so they help Salix to gain political power and freedom. There's potentially a guild of scientists who are responsible for creating Kanan. Maybe they join Salix to weaken the Galactic Federation, so that the guild doesn't have to deal with political restrictions or regulations that could ruin their experiments. There's a lot of potential to see a variety of new enemy types in the story. And on the flip side, what if there was different factions to help Samus and the Galactic Federation? Maybe we can come across the lost Diamond species in their new planet and they help Samus to protect their home. How about the Luminoth returning after they fully recovered from the events of Prime 2 and were inspired by Samus to join the fight? The potential for the world building in the series is fascinating to me, and I hope Retro Studios takes this opportunity to give us new factions. And of course, it's confirmed with the new gameplay footage that we are getting a new alien species, the Lemorn, so that's very exciting, but it also seems like Salix is controlling the Space Pirates, forcefully making them do his bidding by using his new Metroids to control them. So it seems like the possibility of Salix getting other factions to help seems unlikely since he's forcing the Space Pirates to do this. I don't think factions like the Kraken Empire want to be forced into doing something like this, so that seems kind of unlikely now, but I still would love more factions regardless. But of course, what do you guys think though? Again, this is purely my opinion, my wish list for things I want to see in Prime 4. If I happen to be right and call a couple of these things, I'd be really happy, but if none of this really happens, I'd still be happy. Again, I'm just excited for whatever Retro Studios has planned for Prime 4. So if my wish list comes true or not, I don't mind either way. But I do know some of you guys do have your own opinions and thoughts over what you guys want for your wish list for Prime 4. So if you have your own opinions, please leave it in the comment section below. It was really fun making this video, and it's funny to see how much my wish list has changed from that older video I made years ago. Also, it's just funny hearing myself like from years ago. I really have changed a lot when it comes to like presentation and talking and stuff like that, so it was really cool. Of course though, if you like Metroid content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel as I try to make Metroid content regularly. If you want more Metroid content, either check out that older video that I made years ago, or check out this video where I talked about the potential of Salix reviving the Metroid Prime. It's a pretty cool theory, honestly. And with that being said, I'm the Metroid Trainer. I hope you like, favorite, subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and stick around for next time, because I'll be seeing you later.